Observation is not a function of anything. Observation happens when grace strikes you. Simple. You cannot bring about observation. You are forced to observe. You are shell-shocked into observation. You have to observe. Something is at stake. You must observe. Self-knowledge and such things don't help there. Just the immensity of the thing that is at stake, at function, helps there. Take a very mundane example. Forget about the subtle observation of life and thought. Look at the gross observation of a ball. You are playing tennis. Don't you observe the ball? Don't you? We aren't even talking of watching thoughts in a subtle way. We are talking of watching a material object outside of your body. Why do you observe the ball? And you need to be spiritual for that? Are all the tennis players or football players or squash players or golf players spiritual? Why do they observe the ball? There's something at stake. You will be forced to watch. In squash, when you serve, the opponent is often behind your line of sight. You serve from the box, and with one foot in the box, you try to come close to the wall so that the serve has the maximum impact. And the opponent is standing in his half behind the box, a little behind the box at least. So he's behind your line of sight. You can't see him. The ball has quickly gone to the opponent. But you are forced to watch the ball. Why are you forced to watch the ball? Because if you don't watch the ball, you won't know what your opponent is doing. You will be punished. From behind you, your opponent can play any shot. This half, that half. Drive, drop, anything. So what do? After serving, you turn back and you watch what your opponent is doing, because something is at stake. Not God is at stake, but something that you consider important is at stake. Observation happens. It does not need this much of theory. You need not be watching the ego. You need not say it is a process of self-purification and hence I must observe. Hell, you want to win the game. Watch the ball. Don't watch the ball. You'll keep looking at the wall. And Sanjay will play a deceptive boast. You are gone. Boast is a shot in the game of squash in which the ball doesn't directly travel to the wall. You have to watch the ball. Observation is a compulsion. But when is it a compulsion? When you want something. When you want something that is related to the ball, You will have to necessarily watch the ball. Otherwise, you'll lose the game. Suppose it happens that in the middle of the game you lose interest. Will you still watch the ball equally ardently? Because observation requires a certain effort. It's something that is a bit of a tension. And it's tempting to take your eyes off the ball. Those who play cricket know that. Coaches keep on saying, watch the ball till it goes past you. Keep on watching. But it is very tempting to see the ball coming and swing the bat. But things can happen. In the air, the ball can swing. After pitching, the ball can seam. There can be low bounce. There can be exaggerated bounce. If you don't watch, your swing will be counterproductive. But if you are tired as a batsman, or if you are playing casually, then what do you keep? You keep swinging. You don't particularly bother about watching the ball. But if you are playing in a game that really matters, and you feel that you are responsible as a batsman, and the situation is adverse, 4 wickets down already for 50. What do? You watch. Not only do you watch the ball coming to you, you also watch the ball being left by you and flying away to the keeper's gloves. And you are watching it till it has rested in the keeper's gloves. You are watching it. Why are you watching it? Because you're a religious man? No, because you want to save the game. There must be something that you must tremendously want. Is there something that you really want? That's the difference between machines and consciousness. I'm asking this. And don't answer me casually. Take a second, pause, reflect. Do you really, honestly want something? Most of us don't want anything. Casual wants are just wants, casual desires. To really want is to step into love. We don't really want. Everything about us is negotiable. We want only till a point, and beyond that, we give up because it becomes too expensive, and we are shoppers. We have come to this world to purchase, and if you have come to this world to purchase, you cannot want anything beyond a point, can you? You will want with conditions attached. You will want with disclaimers. You will want with limits. You will say, yes, the stuff is good. But if. You are good, but if. If you don't want, you won't observe. Observation requires something, little hot within. Something that scalds you from inside. Most of us are very lukewarm beings. We have little desires, and when they are not fulfilled, we concede defeat. And obviously, when desires are very little, it is easy to concede defeat, is it not? You give me that chocolate, that little piece. Huh? And I couldn't get it. That little chocolate ball. Instead of giving it to me, he popped it into his own mouth. I couldn't get it. What would I do? Obviously, I won't feel that the world has come to an end. I would move on. We move on. And why do I move on? Because the chocolate is such a petty thing. We don't have anything that is so great that it is impossible to move on. We are a generation of move-oners. Getting it? That's the latest college degree. Move-oners. And we all are graduates and postgraduates. Not physics honors. Move-oners. Move on. And why won't you move on? Your desire had no truth to it. Your desire had no fire to it. So you concede defeat. Oh, I lost it. Never mind, buddy. Let's have a couple of beers. And if you lost that one, then here is the next one. Jim is gone, Jack is here. Ding dong. No observation is needed. You know what, I've seen little kids watch their fathers go to work. I was the little kid. Rudrapur used to be not a very developed place then. It was a very serene place. Flat. And serene with not much of development. And I would stand and I would watch my father go to work on his scooter, and he's going and going, and now the scooter has turned into a vague blob, and it's going further away, and finally it is reduced to just a point, and I keep watching. And my Nanaji would be coming to me once in 6 months, once in a year, and it would be the biggest day in the life of the kid. And those were not the days of emails or mobile phones. The most I knew was the date on which he would arrive. And I would sit at the gate and keep watching the road for hours and hours and hours. This is the road on which he would come. And this was when I had factual information that he is to arrive. What was even more crazy was that after he was gone, I would still sit and watch the road. Facts told me that he's not going to be on that road anytime soon. But I would still keep watching the road. Sometimes for 2 hours. Sometimes standing on the terrace, I would keep watching the road disappear into the horizon. And why? If you'd look at me then, this was meditation. The kid would be very quiet, very still. His face would be empty and his eyes would be glued to the horizon. That was meditation. And why was that? Because I wanted, so I would just keep looking at the road. I knew he wasn't going to come, and I would keep looking at the road. Observation is not as cold and calculated as probably many of you think it is. Observation is a thing of the heart. Without the flame, the intensity of love, you cannot watch. Watching is not an academic affair. With a calm, composed demeanor, with everything under control, you cannot observe. Observation is when things are out of control. If you can control, then you will control observation as well. Observation is when you are moved to control. Observation is when you are forced to observe. Observation is only when you cannot control the dissipative urge to not to observe. Observation is when all kinds of distractions are there, but you cannot control the urge to move towards the only one thing that is worthy of being seen. Everything else is rejected, even though everything else keeps clamoring for admission, for recognition. You don't admit it. You probably want to admit all those things. The kite is colorful in the sky. Two dogs are barking in the street. The kid's little sister is pestering him for something. But the kid is watching the road and he cannot help it. Observation will happen only when you cannot help observing. Observation will not be a choice. Observation will be a compulsion. This is also very cold, dead meat. Where is the warmth of tears? Where is the craziness of love? If your eyes are not covered with tears, how will you observe? Observation does not happen with these eyes of flesh and blood. First of all, these eyes have to be blocked. Tears are a good way. And then you begin to see.